Hey, good evening. Guess what, y'all? Today is Sunday. Sunday evening. I had a blessed day all week, and I am not complaining at all because we woke up this morning. But anyway, let me get ready to get started. Give my high power the most praise for allowing life and freedom to come into my life. Come into our lives. Y'all only here because of the God of your understanding, who I call God. But anyway, most gracious and heavenly Father, I thank you, I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. I thank you for life. I thank you for the depths of our hearts, that you allow us to get free from drugs and alcohol, that you allow us to get free from any addiction that had us bound. I thank you for that. We are ever for grateful, to get free from something that had us hostage for a long time it's amazing to me. Because if somebody had told me that I couldn't do it, I would have believed them at that time in my life. But now I know that you are amazing. And for that, I am for grateful. Thank God for the 12 Steps of Narcotics Anonymous program. Thank him for the NA, the CA, the NA. I thank you for all of them because I did all of them. Somebody else probably did all of it. But whatever which drug you did, it was still a drug. And we grateful that you delivered us, you freed us, you carried us, you loved us. And that is amazing to me, for one man to be able to handle all that. So today I want to give a shout out to the 12 Steps of Narcotics Anonymous, the program that saved my life. I recommend anybody to the 12 Steps of Narcotics, the program. But one thing I know for sure, you got to work that program in order to get the work that you put in out of it. And for that, I am grateful. Okay, and I want to shout out. I want to give another shout out to the parents or to the sisters and brothers who lost a loved one due to addiction, who lost a daughter or a son or a mother or a father. The disease of an addiction is here to steal, kill, and destroy. And I want to say to the families, the sister, the mother, the daddy, the brother, the cousin, the nephew, that I ask God to watch over you all. Watch over you and let you know that you still have to maintain and be there for someone else that depends on you. Our loved ones don't have to suffer. They don't have to fight the disease of an addiction no more, and it's still painful. I know I lost a son due to addiction. And so I can tell you from experience that I do know the hurt is very painful, and some of us wish, they looked at us, they saw us can clean, but they clean time don't measure on to what they need to do and process it. So I thank God to all the peoples in the NACAA who lost a loved one due to addiction, who lost a son or a brother or a mother or a father or a nephew or a cousin. It's always painful. So today I give you everything. My God, my God, my God. Hey, Reuben. Hey, I hope I'm saying it, Nikaya or whatever. But anyway, look, we are on step 5. And step 5, another one that saved my life. Step 5, admitting to God, to ourselves, and to another human being, the exact nature of our wrong. And we're going to talk about the wrongs in this step. But this step to me is about integrity. Integrity. This is what this step is about. And this step maintain that you get honest and truthful about your disease, about your behavior, about your attitude, about your selfishness, about your impulsiveness. It all comes in this step. So, when we get to this step, man, we halfway there, and it takes time to work these steps. You can't understand until you work the steps from 1 to 12. And I stayed on 1 for years. Matter of fact, I'm still on 1. I always know that I am powerless over drugs and that my life can come unmanageable if I choose to go back. But I don't never choose to go back. I'm so grateful to be in this program and to know what freedom is, to understand that I'm free from, we get free when we come into recovery, we get free from everything. We get free from the things we have to hold on to. We get free from all the lies we told. We get free from the depression. We get free from the mental illness. We get free from attitude. We get free from behaviors. And this program teaches us how to work on each one of them at a time. At a time. You heard what I said, at a time. I also want to say to the family of Randy, one of our recovery sisters. And she was a recovering sister. When I get off of here, I'm going to say my goodbyes on this earth, and she lived a good life. She was straight up recovery, just like me, and I watched her stay clean. I've been in here a long time to know. And so to the Randy family, or Randy Diamond, or to the family, I hope I'm saying her name right, but I believe it's Diamond, her last name. Y'all help me pray for the family and the granddaughters and everybody that was a part of her lives, because it hit home, this one, for the Narcotics Anonymous program. So thank you. But getting back to step 5. Step 5 is amazing, because now we get a chance. Hey, Charlotte. Hey, baby. Hey, Robin. How y'all doing? Bless you, bless you, bless you. And Ruben. We get a chance to take a deep breath, because now we are acknowledging something. That's step 5. That step 5 is no joke. That step 5 is going to make you feel good once you get there. And once you understand the steps, and once you understand that you got to redo everything that you have been used to doing. See, that's what the steps does. People don't realize, because people don't do the steps. You just come in treatment. You don't do the steps. You don't get a sponsor. You don't get a support group, a women's support group, or just a group in all. You have to do the work in order to get free. You can't get free for 1 week and the next week you back using. You just can't do that. Just can't do that. So now I'm talking about how step 5 played a part in our lives. And I know it played a part in my life. Step 5 was I had to admit to God something he already knew. He know us before we know ourselves. But all he wanted us to do was to admit and talk to him, recognize him for our forecoming in this step. So I had to admit. Anybody that comes into recovery, you gotta admit. And you got to have a conversation with God, because God is all in the 12-step program. So you have to come to admit that that power, that man that you can't see, that spirituality comes popping in. And to admit to God is the main step, because that's who gonna carry you. Ain't nobody else gonna carry. The program can help you. It can guide you. It can lead you. But honey, to admit to God is the one that's gonna help you through this whole process. I was lost without him. To do drugs and pills and to drink like a fish. Oh, to smoke sundown to sun night to sun morning. That was me. And it's only through the grace of God that we here. Some of y'all on here know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all been there. But honey, step 5, to admit to God. Okay, God, let me talk to you. I'm done. I'm done, God. I can't do this no more. I'm tired. I'm depressed. I'm always angry. I'm always upset. I'm always being confused. Come on, God, let me talk to you, because you're the only one that can help me here. In this situation and time of my life, my spiritual part is gone. It's gone. I'm tired of not feeling loved. I'm tired of not having no joy. I'm tired of not being peaceful within my own self. I'm tired. I'm tired of keep using, and I can't stop. God, I'm tired from stealing money from my mama that one time. But that one time was a lifetime pain for me. I ain't never stole nothing from my mama. I'm tired, God. I'm tired of people looking at me. I'm tired of people judging me. I'm tired of family thinking they better than me because I'm an addict, I'm a crackhead, I'm a dope fiend at this time, God. But I need some help. Because, see, I know I can't do it by myself because, being using all the time that I was and all the long time that I did, I didn't know how to stop until I found a program that was power enough to teach me and guide me about all of my attitudes and my behaviors and my selfishness and my self-centeredness, because that's what it was. A lot of times we keep using, hey, Cynthia, a lot of times we keep using because, and see, addiction can be anything. I keep telling y'all, addiction can be everything. I had so many addictions. Y'all don't want to know all about my addiction because I probably won't be here long enough to tell you about all the addictions that I picked up along the way. I can't tell you. So I had to sit down with my sponsor and deal with it. And number 5 tell us we got to admit it to God. He know what it is already, but he need us to say it. He need us to confirm it. He need us to tell him. He need us to want him. He need us to want him in our lives so we can correct and we can restore and we can do some things and clean up in the inside of our body, brain, emotionally. I mean, I was corrupt. I was bankrupt. When we get too many bills and when we go through things and all of a sudden we got to do bankruptcy all the time, we bankrupt because we ain't got no money. I didn't have no spirituality. My spirituality was gone. But because of a 12-step program that was able to teach me not only about the addiction of drugs, the disease of the drugs, it taught me how to deal with all the other active behaviors. And it taught me how I'm to this point now, I need him. I'm confessing that I need a God of my understanding. I did some things with the kids. I did some things that I shouldn't have done. I did some things that I could have did better. I stole, I lied. I did some things, premeditated thinking, my impulsiveness. Okay, God, come on. I'm at that point. You were still there for me, so I know you love me. You didn't leave me when I was in my addiction. You still there for me. So therefore, that means that you still carrying me. So now I'm finna admit. I'm finna get butt naked truthful. I'm finna get back. I'm ashamed, God. I'm ashamed, but I got to get this connection. I got to admit to God. Oh, come on, Renee, come on. And I got to the point to where I knew I was messed up. When I fell down on my knees, I knew I had messed up. I knew I was totally That's why I was depressed. That's why I was so hurt. That's why I was so confused. That's why the disease of an addiction don't care. It don't care how you feel. It don't care how you act. It don't care how you think. It don't care what you do. It don't care what you say. Its job is to mess you up and try to take your life in the influence of the drugs and the alcohol. It almost had me. Can't lie to you. Y'all know, Charlotte, you know. You know, some of the peoples on here I don't know. A lot of the peoples that come on after I get off, I don't know. Some of them I do know. But y'all know what I'm talking about. If you don't know one story, you know another story. You can admit to what I'm saying because we were drug users. We was a dope fiend. Yeah, I can give you the names myself because they made many names for us back then because we was the crackhead, we was the dope fiend, you know, and I was hurting. I was depressed. You know, I've seen some of my friends start cutting themselves because of the disease of an addiction. Start trying to take their lives. The disease of an addiction. Okay, God, you got me. You got me. I'm finna admit. You know, I need to get right. Because if I don't get right, I'm going to die in this disease of an addiction. Okay, God, I need your help. You know, I'm tired of putting you on the shelf. And then when I need you, I pick you back up. Okay, God, I'm so glad you ain't like man. Because I done picked you off the shelf a million times over and over again. When the things got too rough, I needed you. I picked you up. And you were still there. Okay, come on, God. Tell me about myself. Tell me about my self-centeredness. Tell me about me not being perfectional enough to let you know that I am hurting. See, he already know. He's the God that knows everything, so he already knew. But sometimes he wants us to connect with him spiritually in that mode of, you know, you surrendering. You know, I that relates to me with step one. You know, I admitted that I'm powerless. I admitted that my addiction is too much. I can't win. I can't win. No way I can win. No way. You'll never win with any addiction. Not just drugs. With any addiction. Somehow or another it's going to defect your life. Some kind is going to make you a bad person. Sometimes it's going to make you do bad things. Okay, God, you telling me I need to be honest and open and keep an open mind and willingness to tell you what I'm going through and how sorry I am. So that's submitting to God. So once I do that, man, I finally got to the point where I can admit all the shortcomings of my life. I can admit to all the things that I've done and tell you why I did it and tell you that I'm sorry. And I ain't got to get no bad feedback from you. You ain't going to hate me. You ain't going to disown me. You ain't going to turn your back on me. You ain't going to talk about me. You that kind of God. So yeah, I'm finna give it to you. I'm finna sock it to you, God. Sometimes I have to get ghetto with God, but honey, he still, no matter if you get ghetto or how you get, he still hears you. Don't think he don't. Okay, God, now I'm finna tell you, I'm done. You know, I admit, I'm surrendering. I can't win. It done messed up my life. It done stopped me from paying my bills. Any addiction. My gambling, God. My gambling. I took all my money. Light bill, car note, tissue paper. You know, I say this with all due to honesty. That when I was using so bad, man, it had got to where I didn't even have pennies to get a roll of tissue paper. That's that insanity of the disease of an addiction. But you still love me? I ain't never met a man like you, God. I ain't never met a person that won't hold everything I done on me. I ain't met him, God. Everybody else turned their back on me. They talked about us. They laughed at us. They downed us. They disrespected us. They took us for granted. They took us for granted because they knew we was in our addiction. But God, you never done that. All you was doing was knocking and waiting for us to come and talk to you about our circumstances. And that's what he did. He ain't like man. He a forgiving God. The God of my understanding, as I read through the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous, is there nothing but God in it? That's why I knew this program was going to work for me. I finally came to a program. I finally did something in my life that I can finish until the end. It's my choice, my decision. And so far, I've been doing good. Because I ain't never going to use again. No matter what circumstances, no matter how many people I love that die on me, I still got to stay committed to a program that I said, that I surrendered to, that I would never use. I got to stay committed. I didn't know how much strength I had. We don't know how much strength we have. We don't know how strong we get until we get off of that drug, that disease. Ain't no cure for it but one. And there still ain't no cure. But one thing I do realize, as long as I don't pick up the alcohol, as long as I don't use drugs, as long as I don't go back, I'm manifesting, I'm working on a program, I ain't got to worry about using. That's the only thing I can give, because if I stop going to meetings, if I stop participating with my sponsor, if I don't get a support group, if I don't have somebody other than God to talk to about the program, then I ain't gonna make it, or then I'm gonna go back. And that's why so many people go back. Any addiction, people go back. I always remember that. Renee, you ain't too big. You better stay grounded. You better stay in the place of where God had put you at. Because as soon as you start thinking, that impulsive thinking, and as soon as you start taking your will back, you gone. So now I admitted to God about everything, about the things I thought I was going to die, things I wouldn't even talk about that I thought I would go to my grave with. But he's that kind of guy. And I like that. In reality, it would be too good for us to get a man like that. It'd be too good, wouldn't it? It would be too good for me to find a man that don't hold my past and bring it into the present. Or don't try to hurt me because he can. Or don't try to manipulate me. See, God don't do none of that. That's why I say he ain't like man at all. Or I make a mistake and you want to hold me hostage for the rest of the relationship. Or because I told you something honest because of how I felt, and now you want to hold that against me. Okay, hold it. See, these 12 steps learned me to value me. You value yourself. But when you put all your values in somebody else, that don't leave room for yourself. Okay, so we admitted to God, but this another best part. Now, I love this part. It says, admit to God and to others. To another human being. Okay, I already admit that to me. I'm a human being. I'm already admitting it to you all because y'all here on the site. I already admit to my mother for the hurt that I caused her. Had a good relationship. So glad God meant that. Okay, now I go to meetings and I talk. So I'm admitting it to another human being. Or I got a certain girlfriend I can talk to about everything and not worry about it going nowhere else. So I'm admitting that to another human being. The sad natures of my wrongs. It says the exact nature of our wrongs. What is our wrongs? For one, why is you admitting to something? Why is you talking to somebody? Why is you talking to ourselves and to another human being? The exact natures of our wrong. Things we done, man. The lies we told. The peoples we hurt. The peoples we neglected. The children we wasn't the best with. Another human being. Okay, but I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to go and sit around the table. And I didn't want to go sit around the table and tell everybody what I had done. I didn't want to admit to another human being that I stole some money from my mama. I didn't want to admit that I didn't want to admit that I was sleeping with other people's husbands. I didn't want to admit nothing like that. I didn't want to admit that I stole all this money from my job. I didn't want to admit that. Now y'all asking me to do too much. And this step, you asking me to and to another human being, the exact natures of our wrongs. Y'all want to know too much. But since the fifth step say I got to do it, I got to tell it. And not care if you talk about me. See, I'm at that point. I'm at a point now when I talk, I have no secrets. Because my whole life was nothing but secrets. Until I came into the Narcotics Anonymous program. My whole life wasn't nothing but secret. I woke up with secrets. I went to bed with the same secret. Woke up with the same secret. Never did nothing to change it. But this program showed me how. Talking to other human beings. And telling you all the stupid things I've done and how I let the dope men take advantage of me. It wasn't the dope man's fault. I can't blame it on the dope man because the disease of an addiction was calling on me to go and get this and that TV that I had worked so hard to buy. Walk right in my house because I wanted some dope, some drugs, and let you take it right on out. You know, I can't get mad at the dope man. And then about 4 or 5 hours later, I'm calling you back. And I need some more stuff to sell. Stuff that I took pride in buying. How I worked so hard. And it was so easy for you to come in and pick it up because of the disease of my addiction. You know, I ain't mad at you. I'm in a disease of an addiction. And when we in that disease of an addiction, we do crazy stuff. We do things and a lot of things that I hate. That's why I don't never want to go back. Is because I'm too scared that I would pick up all my self-centeredness and my compulsive and my character defects to start changing. That's why I'm beautiful now. That's why you beautiful now. Because you catch it. You work on it. You deal with it. You nip it in the bud right away. And me, I've had people do me wrong so much until, ain't it funny that when a God of your understanding come into your life, how he changed everything about you? You used to hurt me or say something about me. We had to fight. We had to fight. I'm perfect. I'm all that. Respect me. After I go back and look over my lives, I had that attitude. Don't let Broody fool you. Don't let that fool you. I don't care how pretty you look. I don't care how bad you dress or what kind of car you drive. When you in that disease of an addiction, it don't care. It's going to take that car you drive. It's going to take you from buying all the clothes you used to buy, and it's going to destroy your personality. So I had to learn all that. I had to get humiliated. I had to hit bottom. I had to go into this dark place and pray to God that I got out. I had to surrender. Everybody that goes through addiction have different stories but the same similarities. Hey, man, I ain't never going back to a place that held me hostage. I ain't never given drugs the joy, the peace. I ain't never given him the place to take from me and keep taking. See, dope don't care. It don't take one time. It take over and over. Addiction don't care. It takes and it keeps taking and it keeps taking and it keeps taking until you learn how to filter it and deal with it and talk about it and not do it again. See? But when it said to ourselves and to another human being, the exact natures of our wrongs, man, let's talk about wrongs. Let's talk about how I decided to walk to the store one day. Knew I didn't have no money, but I decided, that I was going to go in that store and come out with something. I was going to come out with something if it wasn't nothing but an ink pen. I was going to come up with something because I used to get a high on stealing because the disease of an addiction taught me that. It taught me that, hey, if you ain't got it, do what you can to get it and don't care who it hurt when you do it and don't care who you hurt and how you. So now I done got away with it. Now I done walked my happy big old butt 20 blocks to go to a store to work hard. It takes real premeditated thinking to walk into a store and make sure you ain't watched and figure out what you're going to steal and what's the most money you can get for stealing whatever you can. Hey! The insanity and the wrong things that I done. Because I sure did it. I walked in the store pretending that I was pregnant. Oh, man, I got away, though. That time. Because I didn't do it no more. It took too much energy and too much me shaking and being scared because I never walked in any place and stole nothing. Everything I stole was from friends and associates and people's houses. I didn't steal in no store. Man, it take a lot of energy. I don't see how people do it. I don't see how the grace of God, how they go in the store and they start grabbing purses and doing this. And I was literally about to pee on myself, just trying to go in there and figure out what could I get to sell for this disease so I can get me one more. I never did it again. And all while I was walking out the store, walking down the street, I'm thinking, man, they're going to catch me. They're going to wait till I get halfway and they're going to pick me up. They're going to catch me. And then I got back home. And then I called the dope man. And I said, you can come get this. I got this and I got that. And he would come. The disease is cunning. So powerful and baffling. Because now I'm confused. That's one of the wrongs. I go and I walk 20 blocks to steal something for a disease that I cannot control at this time and didn't get none of it. Well, I kept it. But honey, that was enough for me to never steal again in my life from out of a store. Oh no, I'll never do that again. The humility, the scariness I felt, the shame that I felt. That disease of an addiction will take you places, and before you know, you selling everything. You don't care about no car. You will pawn your car. I pawn my jewelry. I didn't care because that disease wanted me to get some more drugs to put in my body so it can take over. Admit to God and to ourselves. That's what I admitted to God. To myself that Renee, now you know you was out of order. you know you got a problem. And to another human being. And that's a gift for me too right there. Because I used to didn't talk to nobody. Now I can go to a meeting. Now I can talk. I can be a listener. I can tell you the exact natures of my wrong. Why did I go to addiction? What made me become addicted? Character defects, personality, getting away with stuff. I had an addiction before I even picked up the drugs. People make it look like, oh, you got on drugs and now you're addicted. No. That ain't how it worked. That is not how it worked. Because I had a lot of addiction from the age of 4, 5, 6, 7. I was picking up stuff that didn't belong to me. I was lying about things that I knew I wasn't telling the truth about. And once I kept getting away with it and kept getting away with it, now that became an addiction. And then I would go down to Potawatomi, and I would go down there and spend all my money. And now afterwards, I got to worry about how I'm going to pay my car note, how I'm going to pay my light bill, how I'm going to pay the electric, the gas, how I'm going to get some gas in my car, how I'm going to buy some tissue paper. See, addiction. So I had plenty of addictions before I even started doing drugs. But it manifests. It manifests to where now I need something for pain because I ain't never dealt with the drama and the pain in my life. All I did was drink the pain up, use the pain up. I needed something to fill that void of the way I was feeling. I had to understand, hey, Dolores, I had to understand that, when it says we admit to God and to ourselves, and well, you know what, no, and I came to God so humbly. And then on top, I had to admit to myself. So I started with me. And then it manifests for me to go into others and tell them the exact natures of my wrong. And that's what I'm telling you now. I had plenty of addiction before I picked up. And then people tell me, well, I got addicted to drugs. And I know I was addicted. I'll be listening. And so then when I go to a meeting, I say, well, I had plenty of addictions before I even picked up. Stealing, lying, manipulating, holding resentments, hating. Hating became so bad, I just crushed that. I held on to that. Because somehow or another, that made me think I was freeing myself. Because I'm holding on to hate. I'm holding on to resentments. I'm holding on to detachments. So I had to learn. I had to learn that I had plenty of addictions. Exact natures of our wrong. Telling somebody else about my wrongs. How did I walk to a store 20 blocks and get all that stuff and get away with it? And then come back and try to figure out how much money I can get for all the stuff I done took to get one more. That's insanity. Living in a place in your brain that has no room for goodness because of the addiction done took over. People say, how you get addicted? You get addicted? Okay. Oh, I got a grandbaby. My gift. And no matter how many times I tell him, don't throw that phone in the toilet. And the more problems he get, the more times he throw that phone in the toilet. Addiction. Even babies can pick up addictions and still grow up and hold on to them. Then it becomes a part of their character. And I had to think about that laugh because now he done put 3 phones in the toilet. One, I had just bought that phone. It was $1,400, paid $900 for this phone. Now he done threw it in the toilet. Man, I had to catch myself. See, remember recovery. We can't do the things we used to. He's still a baby. He 2 years old. But that let me know babies at that age. Because no matter how you tear their little finger up or pop them, they going to still go right back and do it again. See, addiction starts young. And we can pick up good habits or we can pick up bad habits. But they said, to admit to God, I did that. I just told you how I did that. And that was very painful, even though I knew he knew everything. But he wants to hear it out of our mouths. He wants us to admit it out loud. He wants us to tell another human being the exact natures of our wrong. Why did we do that? Why did we go through such a length to steal and then turn around and sell it? Because the addiction. The addiction. And people think it's so easy to go in treatment and come back out, and you still got to deal with the cravings. You still got to deal with that brain that you done programmed to only do drugs to help you get out of the pain or whatever you feeling. It ain't that easy. People don't know what recovering addicts go through. And the crazy part? This the crazy part. Is that once they know you in treatment, seem like I had a name on my body. It was called stupid. Seemed like they just saw stupid, don't understand. Because the more I stayed in treatment, the more everybody came at me. The more everybody used me. The same peoples I helped nurture, the same peoples you gonna help nurture, the same kids that you would buy anything for and do whatever for, seem like they test you. I had to call my sponsor one time and I said, hey, they watching me when I go out the door and waiting to see what I come back in with. And they just don't trust me. All that was new to me. And my sponsor said, what the hell? I wouldn't trust you neither. She said, I wouldn't trust you, but I ain't gonna tell you what she said. She said, but I wouldn't trust you neither. You done left us home. You ain't been home in 2 or 3 days. You done stole all our money. You done took money out the piggy jar. You done took money that the kids were saving. You lied to them. You never had a commitment no more. You never kept your word no more. You never took them nowhere. You never gave them money to go to school and do that. You stopped all that. So what the heck you mad at? You recovering, they ain't. And it made sense. They don't trust you. All the trust that they had in you been broken because of your disease of an addiction. You choose to chase something that was going to cause you pain later. And she had to give me an understanding because it was like every time I would go to a meeting, every time I said I was going somewhere, they watching me to see how my eyes look, to see what my next movement was going to be when I came in the house. Was I going to pick up the phone and sneak and go in the room and call the dope man like I used to? Man, I went through something getting myself together. Because I had broke so many people, so many loved ones' heart. And the trust issue was gone. And when I came in and I started really working the program, when I came in, I worked the program. I was tight. When I went to God, and it says admit to God, when I went to God and talked to him about why do I do this and why can't I stop using and why do I take this and why do I lie? Look how I broke my kids' heart, God. Look how I did this. Look how I was there with my kids, but not there with my kids. Things happened that I could have had some control of. But because of the disease, God, I didn't see it. I missed it. I ignored it. I denied it. Because of the addiction. And so I had to learn how to understand the disease of an addiction. And when it says to to admit to God and to ourselves and to another human being the exact nature of what brought us here. What we gonna have to do to stay here. But most of all, what did I do? What was the wrongs that I did? Who was the peoples that I hurt? What did you do? What did you do and how you did it? And blah, 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 blah. And some of these steps when I first started working, I'm like, y'all just want to know too much. Man, God, now you want me to admit to you and that step scared me. That step really scared me. Now you want me to admit to you, to myself, and to another human being. Okay, well, Lord, I'll just stay on admitting it to you for right now. And that was okay. That was okay. Because at least I'm telling on myself. At least I'm admitting something to God. But he needed to hear it. I needed to confess all the wrongs and all the stuff and all the things that I had been doing. So I needed to do that. So I didn't even try to go to myself. I had to really work on talking to him to get that contact, to pull him back into my life. And for him to understand that, the disease of an addiction had me in a place to where I didn't care about him or nobody else. And that was keeping it honest, being very honest and keeping it real. Okay, I stayed on that for a long time. And then as I began to feel that God didn't judge me, he was still letting me wake up in the morning. He wasn't holding things. I didn't get no backflash. I wasn't feeling a certain way that I felt with people's. When I knew that God still loved me and I can feel him and I can hear him talk to me. I'm like, man, this mess is good. I love this. Because I was expecting, things to crumble, things to not get fixed that I had broke. I began to realize that he's a man of all words, that if you talk to him and you work this program, it will work. Man, okay. Now I feel good, God. Come on, don't leave me now. I got some more things I got to do in this step, man. Now I got to talk to myself. Which I feel like a part of that was when I was admitting to God. But now I really got to sit back and get naked with me. I got to really tell him that integrity means a lot when you come into recovery. It means a lot. Because that means you done worked on something. That means you doing something. That means you found your way. That means you know the truth. That means you come into a light to believe that I am working on self. I am changing. I'm being a better me. I love me. Why? Because I'm taking out time to read. I'm taking out time to know about me. I'm taking out time to work the steps. I'm taking out time to where I finally nurture me. Most recovering addicts, believe me or not, have been kind, nurturing other people's, took a lot of mess from other people's because of our disease. Remember, we ain't in our right mind. The disease of addiction take over. And we to the point that we don't give a doggone, we don't care. How could I love and have 3 kids and then all of a sudden me taking them some money to school and then I never show up? How can I used to go and buy them clothes every week and all of a sudden now 3, 4, 5 weeks to went by, they notice something's wrong. They notice mamas ain't buying us like she used to. We used to go on trips. Mama don't do that no more. The disease of an addiction stole everything. But the one thing that it did not steal was the ability to know that I can free myself if I work a program. Hey, Mike, if I can work a program. Now, that's awesome. Because, see, the drug stole everything. Self-respect, my emotions was all over the place. Mental illness set in. I didn't care who I hurt. I don't love you no more. It took my joy. It took my peace. It stole my integrity. That's what this stuff is about. Step 5 is about integrity. It did a lot. It took all of me. It didn't just take my mind to make me go and buy drugs. When I tell you it take a lot from all of us. When that disease come in, it takes a lot. Patience takes humbleness away. It takes reservations of how you going to treat your day. You don't care about that no more. You live to use and use to live. You don't care about that no more. All you care about is getting one more. I told you I walked 20 blocks to steal something to sell to the dope man, and that was too much energy trying to walk in the store and steal something. And when I look on Facebook anywhere and see these people's got thousands of stuff they done stole, I'm like, how could I? I felt like I wanted to urinate on myself all while I was walking. They gonna come and catch me, and I gotta walk back, and they might get me out the door. I was so scared of that. That's one thing in that addiction that scared me so bad that I never did it again. It stole from a store. I never did it again. Don't mean I wouldn't steal from your house or I wouldn't steal out your purse. It don't mean that. It just mean I ain't never going back to the store and try. That's too much work. That was too much work for an addict. Even an addict like me, that was still too much work. So now step 5 is about integrity. So now I got to put my stuff in order. Okay, God, so we had this big old long conversation. It wasn't just one day. It was multiples of months. It was multiples of years. And I kept admitting to God. I kept talking to him. He became my best friend, you know, in this recovery. And this is why when I first went in treatment, I looked at these steps. And the way I looked at it and read it and I studied, I looked up, I looked the dictionary. And God is all through these steps. And I remember a time when I came into treatment in Narcotics Anonymous program, I told y'all they used to get on me about mentioning God. I told y'all, but I couldn't understand because it was haters in recovery. It was haters. And must I tell you, all of them is gone. All 6 of them is gone. For a newcomer to come in and think they work in a program and would talk about how God did this and God did that, and some of them tell me I couldn't do that. Man, I was messed up. I had to keep telling my spouse, and she kept telling me, you keep going back talking about God. God of your understanding, that's all in the program. But what if I wasn't secure about staying clean? Little stuff like that could have ran me away. That's why I tell people to be careful. Because you're old school, you got 20 or 30, 40 years, that don't mean you have to bust somebody out. That don't mean you have to humiliate somebody else to make yourself look like you know what you're talking about and you know what you did. It don't mean that. It don't mean that to me because see, when change come in, when you get recovery, change come in. It don't mean hurting another individual to make yourself look good. There go that self-centeredness in you. There go that not holding yourself accountable what you just did. That's why I don't like certain things that people do, even in the meetings. I love the meetings. But you got them ones that think they can just say and do anything. You don't bust newcomers out. Do you know how much it took that newcomer to come to a meeting and to sit down and hear a bunch of old school, to hear a bunch of people that's been clean, to come in and then you say something and you bust them out like that instead of taking them to the side. See, me, I would have took you to the side. I'll take you to the side now. I'll take you to the side. And don't mean that I'm perfect, don't mean that I'm better. It just means that I don't want you to make that mistake again because somebody else might not come to you like I did. That's what I mean. People are supposed to see growth. Even if they don't see the growth in you when you get clean, you better make sure you feel it, you see it, and you know it within yourself. I'm confident. I know who I am. I don't hold nobody hostage on nothing. And they can't hold me hostage on nothing. I'm free. When I got free of drugs and alcohol, when I got free of the pain, when I got free of the depression, when I got free of all the stuff that was hindering me, now it's to a point I'm in recovery. I got a God of my understanding. I talk to him, then it says to another human being, the second natures of our wrong. I done talk to y'all, I tell y'all, a lot of people know half of my life. You don't know everything about me. Sometimes I can't go to meeting and talk about really the things I want to talk about. And that's why you have a sponsor. That's where sponsorship come in. And I've been having my sponsor over 35 years. And I still got her. I'm still blessed. God still kept her. She's still in my life. She checked me if she think I should know better. But so when you are meant to God, that's an A+. It took a lot. It didn't take a lot for me to say it in the inside, but it took a lot for me to hear it from the outside. And then it says to ourselves, we got to talk. When I admitted to God, I heard myself. I heard ourselves have to talk about things that bothered us, hindered us, that almost destroyed us. You know, and then they went on top of that and said to another. That means at a meeting, at unity. NA meetings and AA meetings and CA meetings, that's the exact natures of our own, to talk to other people about the things that happened in our life and what we did in our life and the wrong that we did in our life and the way we can correct them and how we correct them. That's why we're here. That's why we need to stay here. That's why we can never let go of the NA, of Narcotics Anonymous. AA neither. AA saved my life. NA saved my life. All of them is right in that possession of the Narcotics Anonymous program. Yeah, you got a bad story. That was a good story, but my story is good too. To me, everybody's story is good. Every time you get up there, it's just certain people's pick. You know, I found that out in the meeting too. Certain people just pick certain people to speak all the time without getting other people's. Your story ain't no better than mine, but it ain't gonna make me lose my confidence. It just make me want to do more and more and more. Because I'm always thinking of how I can do this, how I can do that, how I can do that. I done did it all. God been so good to me, it ain't nothing. There's only one thing that God haven't allowed me to do that's in my goal, and that's to go to Israel. That's my last goal. Everything else he done blessed me with. The first one was to get free and get clean and to deal with Renee on Renee life terms and tell the truth on my disease. Okay. Only thing I want to do is go to Israel. And I'm not going to Israel right now because there's too much stuff going on in the air and over there. So, Lord, I guess I have to find another goal because as of right now, I'm never going to Israel until I see some light, until I see some people that's really working on change. And right now, everything is so corrupt. I mean, we living in a dog-eat-dog world this time. So if you ain't paying attention, you need to pay attention. That's why I stay clean. That's why I stay alert. That's why I'm here. I need to always be focused because for so long we become unfocused. We didn't care. We had unmanageability. We didn't take accountability. We just lived and existed up under the influence of drugs and alcohol. But see, now I got a life. Now you got a life. Robin, you got a life. Williams, you got a life. Who else names? Dolores, you got a life. Mike Johnson, I know you. I see you today at Randy's funeral. And Robin, I know you got a life. And many more that comes on. Oh, yeah, and thank y'all. Thank y'all so very much for all the encouragement, all the support, all the texts, all the phone calls. Some of y'all just said, Renee, you hit home. Thank you, baby. I just wanted to tell you that. Okay, that's saying a lot. So, I mean, this program really works. You have to work a program in order to see and receive what you get out of it. And I'm going to get all mine. When I was using, I got every dirty thinking, everything I thought, I got it. Premeditated, I got it. So now that I'm clean, I'm working on change. I'm continue to change. I'm continue to know, you know the secret of when you get clean, you get so much better in all areas of your life. Paying attention, being focused, more loving, more giving, more understanding, more patient, more humble, more patient to deal with things that goes on or might come up. So these are the changes that come into your life so you can get free and do the things you want to do. The sky is unlimited. I done tried it and I'm still going. It's unlimited. Anything. You can go back to school. I've seen people in recovery go back to school, go get their GED, go to college, pick up some different trades, open up daycares, open up schools, being a principal. I done seen it all in recovery. See, recovery is about change. It ain't about staying the same. It ain't about that. Recovery, in order for you to recover, you got to see change in the process. If I go into recovery and nothing changed, all the thing that changed was me getting high, but what about my insecurity? What about my patience? What about me loving? What about me being kind? All that's got to change so you can grow, but then you don't see yourself growing because you ain't changed. All you did was go to a meeting. You got to work a program. You got to be honest. I love that fifth step, admit to God and to ourselves and to another human being, the second nature of our wrong. Oh yeah, this was a beautiful step for me. It opened some doors and it closed some doors. And it made me realize that I got a God in my life. As long as I receive him and keep him, he got me. He got y'all too. But you got to be honest. You can't go through recovery still lying and manipulate and then you say you work on a program. I see so many people. I don't judge because I'm not in the place to judge. But I can see and look at things and hold them inside. That's what I don't want to do. You all do. I ain't got to lie no more.